Hello everyone, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life. Welcome back to Build a Page. You guys, we made it. It's Saturday, so I'm here to share my wrap-up video with you. Again, the theme this month, if you remember, was scraplifting and circles. So each one of these layouts has some sort of circular theme to it. And of course, I picked 5 different layouts to scraplift to help inspire me. Some of them turned out like they were like the original one. Some of them went way off course, and that's okay. It's all part of the fun. So this is the first one. This is Scraplifting Audrey Yeager, and this one went way off track. So if you watch the process video, it just wasn't coming together. So I pivot and was able to create this instead, and I'm totally fine with it. It's a really beautiful layout. It's going beside another one that looks really great together. I got some more photos of my little bear done, so really there's no complaints there. This was probably the one that went off course the most, however. The rest of them do kind of follow them a little bit closer, but it was neat to have this one done, and it was cool to get some of that special delivery collection used up from Waffle Flower Crafts. Next up, we have this one. This was so much fun. So this is the scrapbook from Vicki Parker. I love how this one turned out. It's so much fun. The mixed media is actually from the first layout where I was struggling. I tried to make that Venn diagram. I can never think of what you call them. I need to learn words before I speak. Anyways, it didn't work, so I used it as my mixed media. I added more so that it spread out a little bit. Trimmed my paper so I could add in some of this Echo Park line. Did some stitching. The tags originally, if you remember when I was building the kit, I mentioned how I was actually going to create my own tags with this collection, but I happened to literally find these other ones from Simple Stories right next to me on my desk, like right off of my desk, just kind of hanging out. And I was like, I can't not use this. And so I made them work. I had to pivot with my photos, so I ended up using these 2 photos of Barrett. This is his first little trip to the beach. We go every Canada Day, and this was his, obviously, first Canada Day, so it was his first trip to the beach, and his little toes in the water, which I loved. So this is great. I was happy to have this documented. It's neat to get some older photos that you thought maybe you had scraplifted and then realizing you haven't. I'm really happy to have some of these documented. All in all, I love it. I love how this turned out. It was better than expected, which is awesome. With the idea of a circle and tags tucked in around that circle to give it that circular effect, but not just a plain circle. And the twine really kind of brings that one together. All right, here is number 3. This one is Scraplifting Claire. I think it's Claire Rachel Thomas. I'm pretty sure her first name's Claire. I loved her original layout. It was so beautiful. And the idea of a circle in a square was just very, I don't know, there's something about it that was just really pleasing to my eye. I was excited to do this one. This was probably the one I was most excited to play with. And the final results are just, I love it. I love the coloring of it. The fact that I got this piece of pattern paper, which when I flipped through this collection from Rosie Studios, I was like, I'm never going to use that. Like, that is not my thing. How on earth? And it just works perfectly with this layout. It couldn't have fit better. So that was exciting all on its own. I actually didn't use much pattern paper other than the background, with the exception of this little one. I punched it was a scrap that I punched a circle from with my hole punch. I keep calling it a hole punch, but a circle punch. And then everything else, like I punched the photos. They're not all even. They're not, because I needed some of them to be larger than others. I just made it work. Used some of the ephemera. But all in all, I'm really happy with this. It's so pretty. It's so soft and just kind of got that beachy vibe to it. And I'm just happy. This is a vacation. This is documenting food on vacation. So I don't think it could get much better than how that one turned out, with lots of embellishments used up. So yay for that. Okay, now we've got into, this one, Elodie's. I'm pretty sure. The idea of a circle, so taking the circle punch and then cutting it in half and making banners. I love it. I really followed her layout pretty closely, with the exception of the fact that the pattern paper I use is a scrap. This is what I had to work with, so it didn't go out farther than it does in the original layout, but I just made it work. I did add in another piece here just for a little bit of interest over there. And then I kind of placed my embellishments where I saw them, but really there's not a ton of embellishing. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 little sticker banners. There's 2 clear butterflies, an ephemera butterfly, 2 little tags, a tab, and a circle with 2 flowers and a frame. Title, journaling. Like there's not a ton. I don't have a ton to it because the pattern paper from the circle really just speaks to the whole layout, and I'm just really pleased with how that one turned out as well. It was awesome to use up some of this Cocoa Vanilla Studio. It's been amazing this month getting into my stash and really working with some collections that I've kind of been hoarding. And it was just fun, but it was really fun to take this idea of circles and to banners. I've done it before, but it was neat to revisit that idea. And then finally, this beautiful layout that I scraplifted. It's the first layout I actually completed because I knew with the stitching it was going to take me a while. And I just love it. So the idea of stitching a circle, right? Like I took a plate and then a different size plate and a different size plate. And then I just randomly punched holes to make it all work. Sat outside when it was nice and gorgeous outside and stitched while my kids were playing. Came back in, layered in the embellishments, popped in a title, trimmed it down a bit so that it's got an extra border to it. Called it good, but I'm really pleased with how this one turned out too. I highly recommend giving this idea a go. It's easy stitching. Like this, anybody can do. It's simply just poking 5 holes and then 1 down in the middle. So you could make it large. You could do this small idea of different groupings. There's so many different ways you could make this work for you. But if you want to try your hand at hand stitching and maybe that isn't really your thing, this idea is a great way to start. So I highly recommend it. But there you have it, guys. Those are my 5 different layouts, all with a circle theme to it. I enjoyed this idea of a theme, not necessarily my collection, like, right, it's all different collections with my build, like different page kits and everything, but together with a theme. So I enjoyed it. I do think I'm going to revisit that with a different shape later on in the year. I will not be participating in Build a Page for June because of 30 Days of Sketches. July, we have kind of a fun thing happening. So there will be Build a Page, but we're all going to be doing kind of the same theme like we did in April with the bingo board. And so maybe in August, I will come up and we'll do a different shape and this kind of same idea. So let me know what you think. Let me know which layout was your favorite for the month. And make sure you go check out the lovely Kristen and Moira and Shannon and Jen and Sheila, who is Scotian Scrapbooker, over on Instagram. Have a fabulous day, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye, everyone.